Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. I am your host, Reverend Dr. Wanda. If this is your first time, I am delighted you've chosen to join us today. With modern technology, we are extremely grateful for this opportunity to touch so many lives, especially through Zoom and Facebook, and to share the wonderful happenings at CSL Charlotte. So please feel free to visit our website, cslcharlotte.org, and put in a prayer request and subscribe. We add our recordings to our website each week. The Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte is a new thought community, living an ancient wisdom philosophy based on the science of mind teachings. This science of mind philosophy was developed in the early 20th century by writer and lecturer Dr. Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He studied truths from all of the world's religious traditions and spiritual paths. Holmes developed a fresh new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into our world. At CSL Charlotte, every philosophy is honored, along with every race, sexual orientation, and physical distinction. This is a diverse community. There are so many paths to the divine. We can call it God, peace, love, spirit, whatever you call it. That is your power that resonates within you. You do not have to leave your philosophy or your nature of knowledge. You can join us anytime. We recognize and refer to many holy scriptures, such as the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, the Bhagavad Gita, just to name a few. Our vision statement is to continue a spiritual community, creating and preparing a succession of future leaders who can fully integrate, teach, and expose the science of mind principles, messages, and practices that strengthen the mind, body, and spirit connection of individuals. One of our aims is to create a high collective consciousness for everyone in this community, thus elevating the world consciousness. We teach everyone the tools to do just that. So come and join us as we meet each Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So welcome everyone and enjoy our service as we celebrate this powerful being which lives within each and every one of us. Today we are privileged to have Reverend Rosedale talking about the power of and in the world. And so I can hardly wait to see how Spirit moves through us and in her this morning, because I know she is prepared to deliver a passionate talk this morning. So take it over, Reverend Rosedale.
Whoa, thank you so much, Dr. Wanda. That was powerful. Thank you so much for being here as our MC. And I just want to say, everybody, thank you, period, for being here as our MC. So, for what I like to say is that today is going to be so interesting because we've been talking about the mindset for so many weeks now. It seems like so many weeks, but maybe because I've been living it. But it's actually going to show us today how the and in our lives works so well. So stay on it, hold your seats. So anyway, welcome to CSL Charlotte, Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. And we are the Mind, Body, Spirit Center. So what we do is we make sure that we integrate all of that. And at least I do, because it's something that is very, very important to always keep that mind, body, and spirit integrated as much as possible, especially when you find yourself drifting on a day-to-day thing. So the first thing we do is we open up our Sunday celebration with an affirmative prayer. And today we have our emeritus spiritual practitioner, Maureen Thurston, aka Mo. And now Mo is our prayer tree arborist. And what she does is she does the emails, the prayers that come through as a prayer request on our cslcharlotte.org. Now, if you have not received a prayer request from CSL Charlotte, it's probably because you did not put in a prayer request. So I would suggest that at some point today, during the service, at some point, that you go out to our website and do that because prayer is powerful. So what happens is, uh, Reverend Mo takes the prayer that you send to us and she prays and I read and I pray. And the two of us, plus you reading it daily, wow, gives us so much power. So, that all being said, Mo, please do that prayer for us today.
Great. Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. So let's just take a moment to turn within. And as we do so, I know that each and every one of us connect to that divine essence within us, where every resource that we need is there. I know that as we go into this service this morning, that we hear what is ours to hear, that our hearts are lightened up, that our minds become clear of the chatter. As we listen to Reverend Rosedale share her words of wisdom with us here today, I know that this service flows easily and smoothly, and each one of us are blessed beyond any type of measure. So as I release this into that state of law, I know that it is already manifesting within each and every one of us. And I invite each one of you to affirm this with me by just locking it in by saying, and so it is.
And so it is. Wow. So, our talk title today is There is Power in an And World. Whoa. So, next on our platform, I had to say it before she steps up here. The next on our platform is our reader, JT, Jariva Trailer, aka JT. You know what? She finds great music. She finds great readings for us because she likes to touch the hearts and the minds and the bodies and the spirit of her yoga students. So, and she's really good at that. So, this reading that she has, I would really like for you to pay strict attention to it and realize that that song that follows it, the world song, is going to be something, a classic by Louis Armstrong. And he's talking about what a beautiful, what a wonderful world it is. And when we see it right, we set it right. So, with that being said, listen to JT's reading and wait for that wonderful song to bless you in your soul. JT, make it do what it do.
All right, good morning, everyone. Today's reading is titled The Genius of And from the Abundance Center blog. In the book, Built to Last, the authors Jim Collins and Jerry Porras discuss the genius of the and. The authors say that builders of greatness reject the tyranny of the or and embrace the genius of the and. They embrace both extremes across a number of dimensions at the same time: purpose and profit, continuity and change, freedom and responsibility, discipline and creativity, humility and will, empirical analysis and decisive action. I have always appreciated the concept of the genius of the and because it feels more abundant. Choosing between things, which is the tyranny of the or, puts my mind in a deciding place of evaluating, judging, and analyzing, which feels confining, limited, and many times so frustrating. Or thinking does feel like tyranny, scarcity really. Why can't I have my cake and eat it too? Why can't I have as many cakes as I want? That is abundant and thinking. The genius of the and is about looking at possibilities, allowing yourself to expand to having more, and allowing seemingly conflicting ideas and desires all to be viable and possible. How prosperous is that? And is inclusive, or is about exclusion, and is expansive, or is restrictive. I know that many times we do not need to make a choice, but for many of us, the tyranny of the or is running the show, and this is not nearly as wealth promoting as and. In Effortless Wealth, we discussed how or can lead us into scarcity thinking by putting us in the bind of agreeing. I can have money or freedom, but not both. I can have money or my integrity. I can have money or my relationships, but not both. It is the tyranny of the or. I can have this or that, but not both. Abundance, wealth consciousness opens us up to the genius of the and. I can have money and the other wonders of life. I can be my glorious, unique self and enjoy the richness that comes from that. I can be playful and committed. There are so many places we can look for the expansion that and brings and the prosperity that flows from that. At first, it might take a bit of noticing how many times we just agree to the limitations of or. It's us or them. She can win or I can. I can pursue my passions or make bank. But this is not the way of the glorious, unlimited, all is possible wealth energy that is flowing always and in all ways. As the song goes, who knows what miracles you can achieve when you believe, somehow you will when you believe. Lyrics from When You Believe. This song can also be the anthem for the genius of the and. So today, when you feel your mind grinding with the usual assumptions of it has to be this or that, stop and remind yourself about the abundance and creative genius inherent in the energy flow of life, the flow that can facilitate all of your desires in a magical and way you might have never have considered. When you expand into and, you are opening to the true richness of life. So open your heart and let and show you the way. Remember, you are always prospering, always and in all ways. And so it is.
A wonderful world. And I think to myself, take a deep breath and think to yourself, what a wonderful world. You're going to hear more about why and plays so well with that song, that classic by Louis Armstrong. So as you breathe and just remember these words. There is power in an and world. What a wonderful world. That first song really set the tone for me in my spirit, first of all, because of the simple fact that when we can make choices of the and right off the bat, I gotta bring up JT's reading because it just makes sense. But before I do that, let me just let you know what that song meant. And that's all I wanted to do to send to you now to get it in. So take that next deep breath in now and begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes and center yourself in mind, body, and spirit. And as you do, come on back into your room and look around your space and to see how new you are today. Because trust me, there is power in an and world. So first I'm going to take a gratitude moment and thank you, Dr. Wanda, first right off the bat for being the MC and to be here every single time it's MC time for yourself. And thank you too, JT, for that fabulous reading that really brought this talk to life. And then I was going to say you, Alan. Then I want to thank you, Mo, for that fabulous, awesome opening prayer. And every time we set these three people up, it sets the stage for me to speak. And it is always wonderful with this platform. So now, let me just tell you a little bit about our talk title. title. Okay, I like it. Now, the talk title there is power in an and world. You're going to see the discrepancy between that and the tyranny of the or. And you know, when JT read that, the genius of and, it just opens the whole talk. It just made it work. So I'm going to share a profound realization about life's journey and how we get to actually guide or navigate through it nice, easy, and effortlessly. You know, here's what I do know. The concept of the tyranny of the or versus the and shows you in essence that it's just a way to illustrate a new way to say what all I'm about to say, and that is change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I say that all the time, but now I'm using it as the and. Watch. Now, of course, you know that tyranny is, you know, what's that word I want to use? It's a dictatorship. And when you're dictated to, it's kind of hard. So that's what tyranny of the or is. It's very restrictive and it gives you this just doesn't give you any choices. Whereas and gives you powerful and tons of choices. So the personal choices you make, the business choices you make, the social choices you make are all based on your mindset when you think of the difference between the power of and the tyranny of the or. Now, the tyranny of the or represents a mindset where you are forced to make a decision between right or left, left or right, white or black, green or yellow, money or no money. You can't have both. You heard JT's reading, but people, in that mindset, it creates scarcity. So it implies to us that we can only have one thing or the other. Now, this leads to, just like she said, scarcity. And see, in an and world, what it does, it encourages us to be creative. It encourages us to think outside of the box. It encourages us to realize that there is not an an if, an in, an and, an or. There is just and. And I could have it all. And you know what? This is an and world. When Louis Armstrong said that, and he said when he thinks to himself, what a wonderful world, he just looks at it that way. When you get up in the morning and you see the world as a beautiful place, that sets the tone for your day. When you get up in the morning and you see it's raining, you could say, well, it could be raining or sunshine, but I like sunshine better. Well, wait a minute. Why not like the rain? It's an and world. Get into it all because you know what? You can't stop the rain. You can't stop the climate change. There's nothing we can do to that. That's already done by that energy. So let's just enjoy that beautiful world, that wonderful world. And actually, when you say that to yourself, like he does, what a wonderful world, man, you get up and you're smiling, kicking your heels and running around, dancing all over the place. See, living in the power of and, what it does is it pulls us to achieve one goal after another. And sometimes, most times, simultaneously. That's the deal. So you don't have to say, like, for example, I don't have to say, oh, I can't. But in other words, what it does, it challenges my assumptions to whether or not I'm confident in what I do. So that's what I love about knowing about the and, because if I can accept both and this and that, then I'm good. So let's look at some examples. For example, I can say to myself, okay, I am a minister, a director, right? A spiritual director. I am the founder of CSL Charlotte, and that's a wonderful thing. But also, I'm a fitness and nutrition and spiritual coach. But also, I'm also one who loves to do a lot of exercises and teach people about exercising. Now, can you imagine if I said to myself, should I just do the spiritual work? Should the minister? Should I just do the fitness and nutrition? Should I just do family time with my family? But all of this is all about my life. All of this is all about who I am. So why do I have to make a decision? Because tyranny of the or causes me to make that. So I would rather live in the and world. How about you? So do you hear how restrictive the or is in when you think about tyranny of the or as opposed to living in an and world? I hope so. I remember a friend of mine the other day. Well, I don't know how far long ago that was, but it was long enough ago. And that was somebody I would always tell my plans to what I'm doing next and how I'm doing all these things. And she made a statement that said, well, which one of those is more important to you? Because you got to make a choice. And I knew right then and there that we used to have conversations about plans, about what I do. Because now, when someone is thinking that way, it's not a thing for me to say you're right or wrong. I just don't comment. But I just think that don't tell your plans to people when they're going to tell you something else, because what happens is you got to end up telling them why you want to do this as opposed to that. And when you do that, guess what it does? It disempowers you. So if you can't find friends or people that you deal with that are like-minded, that can say to you, wow, that's great. And you do that too? Wow. You're a barber too? Wow. Melissa was talking to me like a couple of days ago, and she was saying, you know what? And I noticed this about you. Everything you do all gears around spirituality, no matter what. Even when you do it, it's all about how you think, mind, body, spirit. You talking about people with their nutrition. You talk about fitness. You talk about all of that. Yes, but that's a friend that knows who I am. Whereas another person would say, hey, you're not supposed to be doing all that. You could make yourself tired. When I was growing up, people would tell people, you're doing too much. You're working too hard. You need to slow it down. Well, that's not the friend that I could probably lean back in their arms and say, she got my back or he got my back. That's definitely not that person. So I know that when you are holding conversation with people, that thing what they used to say when we were growing up, don't tell people your stuff. If you tell people what you do, you're going to make yourself have bad luck. No, you're not. They're not going to have the evil eye on you. And no, they're not going to have bad luck because you do that. Why are you going to have the bad luck? Okay, let me tell you why. Because you're going to please those people that are saying to you, well, you can only have that red car or that blue car. And if you don't make a choice, you're going to make a choice. They can tell you things like, well, you could either take a job or have a business. Why can't you have both? Who's to say you can't? The people, your company you keep, and you are going to work out all the dishes. This is what I learned coming up before I even came into this. I would have to explain to everybody why I want to do this. Coming up as a teenager, I would tell my mother, oh no, I'm going to work, but I'm also going to finish school and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And she would say, there is no way you're going to be able to do that, because that's what she was taught. She did the best she could, but only thing is though, spirit, one thing I tell you what, spirit will take you out of a world of nothingness if you just give it 2 seconds of a glance. And I'm sure I did a lot, because I used to always dream of something more than that. And I was always, when I do that, I am working in the realm of spirit. I am working in spirit's time, because I'm only seeing that. Yesterday, I had a conversation with this wonderful person who's asking me to do some speaking. And I got to, as I was talking to her, I gave her a brief synopsis of how I will walk her through her next future. Do you know that after she really listened to what I was saying and really put her mind into the vision piece of what I was saying, when I was giving her a real brief, it wasn't even I don't just call it meditation, I call it mindfulness practice. I taught her a mindfulness practice where she just sat, and I also said, just visualize while I'm talking. If you visualize the beauty that people are saying to you when they pray for you, if you visualize the beauty that people are saying to you when they're talking about you, you are sitting there in the and world. You are sitting there in mindfulness practice. Mindfulness practice helps you, guides you, pulls you through that power of the and world. I like that. There is power in an and world. Now, here's another thing I could tell you about. If if I feel judgmental, lots of times there are recordings playing in my head from back in the day when they would tell me you cannot do that. I was when I was growing up, I didn't want to. I was a model. I was going to acting school, and I was doing quite a few things, but I was also going to study to be a police officer. But you know, I still had people that I was telling what I was doing, and guess what I was doing? Talking myself out of the modeling per se, and in and out of the acting, because they would say, "Yeah, but you don't make that much money in that." And okay, that makes me judgmental. No, doesn't matter whether it's about me, whether I'm judging my own life, or whether I'm judging the world or whatever have you. The word judgmental comes from us trying to explain to the world why we can have it all. And they're going to tell you why you can't. Sometimes. Because not everybody's going to do that. Because you still have people like Melissa that I can talk to, Timmy P, Groovy. You know, I can just tell people certain things, and it's not that they're going to tell me what I should be thinking. They're just pretty much going to say, interesting. That's nice. And that's really cool. So now here's what we're going to do. All I got to do in the and world is this. I don't have to say, can I do, should I, not can I, should I do the ministry? Should I do the fitness? And should I just pretty much take time out just for this and I can only give my family that much time? You know, that's not going to work. Because how are you going to be happy if you're not doing all the things that you really want? So happy is first. Right is second. What people call right is if you choose one or the other. The tyranny of the or. Dun, 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 dun. Right? So now you know that tyranny of the or means that you're being dictated to, that you can't have both, but you got to make a choice. Now let's be clear. There is always a chance of you getting afraid because you trying to explain to people. I sound like Ricky Ricardo. Explain me to Lucy. You have to explain to people why you see the world the way you see it. So get out of that. Remember, people pleasing? That's another part of mindfulness work. That's another part of spiritual practice. That's another part of us learning that I can't do this. I'm going to have to be happy in everything I do, and I'm going to make my own choices. And I'm not going to make my choices based off of the way I made them last week, because if I do, guess what happened? I'm living a paradox. I'm in a paradigm, and I have not changed that paradigm. And until I change that paradigm, I'm going to be in that tyranny of the or. Make sense? So that's not your problem, what everybody else is thinking. Like-minded friends is the way to go, period. If you have the friends from 20, 30 years ago and you want to stay with them because of what's that word? Well, I had to be this way because we've been friends for so long, but you don't have, that's the only reason? Do you have any other reasons? Because are you happy in that relationship? It doesn't have to be a girl, a guy, a boyfriend, a sister, a wife, or whatever. It's just whoever. Oh, antagonist, right. There's some people that have to be the antagonist. Timmy P used that to me in a conversation we had. The antagonist. There's people that got to play that role with you. That's part of the job of the universe. But the thing is, you need to discern, am I living in an and world, or am I living under the tyranny of the or? The antagonist, there we go, will give you reasons why that's not going to work like that, Rosedale. No, you can't have that. Sorry. And the thing about it, I used to think that, yeah, I couldn't have it. I couldn't have it all. But now to see that all I need to do is understand the power that I have in me to place myself in the and world is just using spiritual practice, is just taking care of other people. You know what? Service, I love giving service to people, especially growing them in some way. Because I know that if you're not servicing mankind in some type of way, the universe is that's what I mean. I'm not saying that you're going to be threatened by that, but I'm just saying serving people in this world is wonderful because it makes you happy to see them glow. And that is what makes you get pulled into all these different ideas, because see, if you help that person do something that they said they would do, for example, a person could come to me and say, I want you to pray that I become a millionaire. I better not ever catch myself even with the slightest thought that there's no way that's going to happen. And I'm not going to say, oh yeah, so how you going to do that? How you going to do that? I'm going to pray for them. As soon as they tell me why they want it, and all the legitimate reasons and stuff like that, because then it's going to give me more power. It's going to put me in the and world, because they're probably going to tell me something like, I want to raise money through this. I want to go meet these people, and I want to go network over here, and I want to do this. I'm putting myself in their mindset, because guess where they are to become a millionaire? In the and world. Or you are headed for lack because you're not doing all of those things that you really want to do. You just try to do this and you quit. Well, when we quit too soon, that's when think about this. You're digging this shovel to get to the other side, to success. And when you get to your success, you decide to yourself, you didn't get to your success yet. You just got tired, right? Your arms got tired. So you give up and you walk away. 2 minutes later, here comes a really gung-ho person who's really all about their and world and all the wonderful things they want to get. They go and tap that space you just left, and all the stuff flow out to them. That's the power of an and world. This person said, I'm going for it. That one said, I'm done. I got to put forth too much work. So once you understand the tyranny versus the or, the tyranny of the or versus the and world, then you begin to become so creative. Your thinking is more methodical in your happiness. Other than that, you've got scarcity, trying to figure out, I either can do this business or that business. I can do them all. If I want that, and if I say I want to make money, then I'll do that until I can find another way. But I got to make this money, because let me tell you something. If you think that you don't need money because of whatever you think, let me just tell you something. Money is up there with oxygen. It ranks that high. Because if you take a breath and release it in and out like it's supposed to be done, in and out like it's supposed to be done, you're balanced. But if you decide that I'm not letting this part of the money to go because, okay, you're unbalanced, your finances are unbalanced, just think about the logic of spirit, the universe, and how it works. And I got to breathe in and I gotta release it. I gotta bring in the money and I gotta release it. I gotta do this, not or. I gotta hold, either I spend it or I keep it. You can't keep money. You can't keep air. You gotta let it go. That's the balance of the world. That's the last thing I want to say. So with that being said, I'm just saying there's power in an and world. So now and let me just say the next song before I do this. You know what music has done for us and how it was born in our lives and bred in each one of our cells. Music conveys this wide, fabulous, awesome range of emotions, of ideas, and to get us really in sync with something. So here's what I want you to know. Become emotional about your worth. Every day in the consciousness meeting, we talk about I'm worthy. Well, not really just the word worthy, but desirability. We got a billion of words we could use. But anyway, we talk about desirability. But this song, I want you to take it to heart when you hear it about how worth it you are, because these empowering lyrics is going to give you an idea of what it is to live in the power of an and world. So take a minute to really actually feel your emotions and let it soak you in to the power of an and world. Powerful, powerful, powerful. When you know how much you are worth it, then the and world, the power, all comes through you, creating so much dynamic, so much creativity, so much of all the things that make you happy and feel successful. So remember that. And I trust that you heard the first sentence of that song when she said, stay in this moment. Remember, I talked about the practices, the mindfulness practices. Stay in this moment. She says, there is nowhere you need to go. So if you ever remember this week that you got decisions to make, first get in the moment. Practice mindfulness and awareness and become all living into your and world. All righty. So that was fabulous. Thank you, Alan, for the announcements. And Mo, Mo, a community that prays together absolutely stays together. So thank you so, so much. Like Alan said, on our consciousness meetings, I'm getting tons of calls constantly about the things that people have done to grow. Also, the things all throughout the week, I'm getting people to tell me, could you add this to our consciousness meeting? Even if they're not going to be there, I will put people in our circle. This morning, I just got something from someone that wants that. So, it's doing a lot as far as our consciousness meeting. But the energy is so fabulous. If you guys, when at the end of the service, stay and just say, see you later, I'll bid you a farewell, as opposed to like, gotta go. And not very many people do ask for the prayer. So that's why we are going to phase out for a while and see if it's something that people want to see back. Got it? So, all right, back to what we're getting ready to say. You know what this time here is? It's all about birthdays, right? When you honor your day. And I was just telling my grandson that you must always honor your birthday, because I don't forget mine and will never forget mine. I may never forget theirs, look at Melissa, but I will not forget mine. You can rest assured of that. But anyway, let me just tell you this. You know your birthday, I don't. So why not put your birthday in the chat so we can celebrate your birthday for you, so that you get the opportunity to get noticed, recognized in the spirit world. Now, let me tell you something. Even if you're not here and your birthday falls in that month and we sing it to you, you're going to feel it. So I'm telling you, I really believe in that. I believe that if you honor your day, everything else in your life is honorable because you're alive. This is the day you came to be. So, all right, that said, just put your birthday in the chat or don't worry about it. Do we have any? No, we don't have any birthdays today. Okay, so big gratitude to our platform team. A big, gigantic hug to you, Wanda, for being the MC, and a fabulous kudos to you, JT, and also Mo for that wonderful prayer. So that oh, and Alan with the announcements. He's a mess. This guy, I'm telling you, he's a mess. So and that was fabulous, fabulous. And the music. So you did your thing, right? And so I guess that's it. Who all we got? Did I miss anybody? And matter of fact, I did. I missed Melissa. And Melissa is she's the spotlighter, right? And the greeter. And okay, I just realized that. Also, we got Groovy G. Groovy G keeps everything in order. She makes sure that the silence and it's nice and quiet and we're able to hear this. And then, of course, we got this person flying over the service all the time. Flying over the whole entire community is Timmy P. He's our pilot and he makes sure that all things get done the way they need to be done. And then, maybe today, the Bush is not, what I call him Horace the Bush. The Bush is not on MC today, but let me tell you something, behind the scenes, who's running these potatoes? Who's peeling the potatoes? We got Horace the Bush doing that, making sure that that's out there and done. So just know that I love this team and I love actually always making sure really make sure everybody's appreciated and make sure you get to know how grateful I am for you to be here this day. So now, before we close out, I want you to remember that there is really, truly, honestly power in an and world. When you catch yourself saying that word, or you can stop, or she can stop, and yes, and but is another thing too. You know what? But I don't want to go into that one. But I'm just saying, if you catch that, or put that and in there and enjoy your life. So that being said, this track I'm about to tell you about. Now, the second song before this one was about You Are Worth It. Now, here's what I want you to know. If you live in the and world and start putting yourself to be mindful of it, you're going to understand that all that work that you was going to talk yourself out of doing because you had this or thing going on, you're going to do it and you're going to find out that it's worth it. And so the name of this song is It Is Worth It, no matter what. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And now this is really not a song as much as it is a motivational. So hear the words, take them to your heart, because this week, I guarantee you, because you have it every week, you're going to come up with some things you got to make decisions on. Just listen to this last song before Dr. Wanda prays us out, and then you'll know. So let's go with that. Say that a lot. It wasn't easy, but I am so glad I stuck it out. I just kept at it, not at it, all these years. And guess what? I got more challenges and I got more things to do. And guess what? I'm going for them all again. So I never give up. I never stop. So anyway, guys, you do the same. This week, it's worth it. Just got to do it. So that being said, she should have the spotlight on. Maybe it's something that I'm looking at that's not right today. Yeah, it's me. Okay, so that said, yeah, there she is.
Yeah,
so hey Mo, how are you doing today? Are you ready to pray us out?
I am doing very well. Yes, I
Okay.
am.
All right, my dear, let's go.
All right. So once again, we have taken time out of our busy schedules and have been blessed beyond any type of measure being part of this amazing community. So I know that as we go into the rest of our Sunday, that our hearts are light, our footsteps are light on the earth, that we touch the lives of those around us just by being who we are and showing up from the heart. So as we go into the rest of this day and to the beginning of this week, I know that everything folds easily and smoothly for each and every one of us, that our lives are filled with laughter, joy, love, and abundance. So as I release this into the law, I know that it has already taken root, already taking form, and is manifesting within each and every one of our lives. And so as we go forward today, I invite you to lock this prayer in for yourselves by just affirming, and so it is, and so we let it be.
And so it is. So now, I guess this is that time where we can either say adieu, kind friends, adieu, or for the last time, you can say you would like a closing prayer to go home with.